Hi, I'm Heather Moore, and this is the Cable News Roundup for August 24th. I'll start with Fox News and the O'Reilly factor. Donald Trump is aghast to say he wants to help the faltering economy by cutting U.S. economic ties with China, and he wants to take a very aggressive stance on immigration. Jesse Waters says Bernie Sanders is a radical socialist and that his supporters don't know anything about him. And O'Reilly says Democrats are not tough on immigration or repairing the economy, and that will hurt them in the presidential election. On the Kelly File, Ben Carson is a guest. He says the Black Lives Matter movement is doing more harm than good, and he says that the problem with the African American community is that young people and parents can't find jobs and the neighborhoods are too violent. He says the Black community should march on schools to improve education, confront the entertainment industry, and go to the city hall to demand a stop to violence, and he talks about the war on poverty. A woman's Facebook post went viral about a 9-year-old girl killed in Ferguson with a stray bullet. It came through the wall of her family home. And this woman says black on black violence is the biggest problem for the African American community. A U.S. Army Green Beret beat up an Afghan Army sergeant who was accused of raping a young boy and then beating up the child's mother. The American soldier is getting kicked out of the military for this fight, and Kelly thinks that's unfair. She talks about the 3 Americans who stopped a gunman on a train in Paris. On Hannity, he says that Democrats don't have a chance at the presidency because of Clinton's email server confiscation, and he predicts Joe Biden entering the race would help the party. They have a segment about the Iran nuclear agreement and that it's bad, and they have another segment that Planned Parenthood is bad. Switching over to MSNBC, All In with Chris Hayes. An economist talks about the stock market. It's not another recession, but it's not the 2010 flash crash either. It has a lot to do with our reliance on China. He talks about Common Core and standardized testing. President Obama has given Biden his blessing to run for president if the vice president wants to. On the Rachel Maddow show, she talks about this supposed blessing that Obama gave Biden to run for president. President Obama says that going solar is not just for combating climate change, but it's economical. And then there's something about last summer a house was broken into and a laptop was stolen, and the suspects are people who work for Rand Paul. She says those who have surrounded Ron Paul and now Rand have a history of bribery and thievery to help the Paul family in elections. And on the Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell, he talks about China's stock market failing. It has affected the Dow Jones. Republican presidential candidates are saying we need to cut ties with China. O'Donnell has a panel discussion about the dangers of cutting ties with China. The show says Trump's immigration reform plan is crazy, and actress Susan Sarandon is trying to have a death row inmate pardoned. So now you know.